Off I take ya, dip trip, lip fantasia.
Taste Budz Podcast, the place where we digest film, TV, and media.
On the struggle until in God's good time, the new world, with all its power and might, steps forth to the rescue and the liberation of the old.
I will say this, that Dunkirk became very valuable only when I saw The Darkest Hour.
Right, yeah, I was going to ask you, so Chunu was saying timing, or you were saying that Jason was saying that timing has a lot to do with when movies come out and whether or not they're successful. So are you saying that Dunkirk was successful because Darkest Hour came out at the same time in terms of timing? Or do you think there's anything in the ether that had either of those movies be successful?
Yeah, I think, I mean, like those films, I hate to say this, but those films were groomed for the Oscars ever since the typewriter hit the paper, I feel. You know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, when Gary Oldman signed on to say, I'm going to put on a fat suit and be one of the greatest war heroes of our time, the people were like, yeah, this could be it. Now, there's so many factors for it to get there, and I'm not undermining the achievements of everyone involved in that film, but that film was groomed for the Oscars. And Christopher Nolan is rated as, and like this is every other publication, as the most impactful and most effective director that has ever graced the silver screen. You know, his films make over $1 billion, and they are original screenplays. It's mind-blowing. So for him to make a artistic, because I feel like the editing, because it won Best Editing, and Dunkirk is cut like a motherfucker, man. Like, and I think that was one of the first things that turned me off, really, as I was like, damn, after seeing The Prestige and Dark Knight and Memento, even Memento's out of order, but it's there's something about it, like to the is it insomnia? No, it's short-term memory loss, yeah. And seeing that and how that kind of the editing like kind of bleeded out into, you know, the theme of the film. Like it was like the theme of the film being represented by what it was. Dunkirk, it felt like to me like being a soldier and not knowing what the fuck is going on, you know? And I think that's what I connected to, that Dunkirk, you know? But I honestly was like I was like, man, these are great moments and this is great filmmaking.
Some deal. You watch the current of the mouth. And thank you.
But why am I watching this? You know, and again, because there was no exposition, there was no backstory on Dunkirk. I mean, I'm not a historian. I don't, you know, movies is kind of like how I realize what's going on with the world. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I was watching The Darkest Hour.
Well, it was funny, after I watched The Darkest Hour, I was like, oh, I should probably go watch Dunkirk now.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what Dunkirk was about. I was like, oh, it's a war movie. But for the longest time when I saw the trailers, I was like, that looks like an epic war movie. What war are they fighting? Like, I had no idea what the movie was about. All the trailers just looked amazing, but I was like, what?
It's a war movie where you never see a war.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
that's not true.
Yeah, but you never see your traditional war. You actually, again, Dunkirk is about retreating. Mm-hmm. And there's never been a film about retreating and being successful, which I found out was super successful when I watched The Darkest Hour. So I saw like the impact of what really happened of Dunkirk when I watched The Darkest Hour.
It's funny when we're talking about timing in the world and how it can work with film and make it successful. I saw Darkest Hour because I was so curious to see Gary Oldman's performance. That's what got me in the seat.
Yeah.
For the full episode, check out our channel on YouTube and check us out on Instagram.